Are you 16 to 24, looking for something positive to do? Why not get involved? To get involved, visit mashupderby.co.uk.
And we're back with, my apologies,
Dennis.
Dennis. I'm very bad with names. Jimmy and Tandika have left the room for an appointment, so it's Luke and Josh left with the third section of the show. And we're going to kick it off with, what are 3 films you really like and resonate with you?
3 films. Well, I haven't been to the cinema for ages. The last film I went to see Skyfall at the, what's the name, but the one before that was Octopussy.
That's a while back.
That was the last time. But when Skyfall came out, my daughter and son-in-law took me to the Odeon over at Wyvern Park, which was very expensive.
Do you ever watch films on your TV?
Yeah, I watch a lot of films. I like action films. I like James Bond and different things like that.
So let's go for 3 then. Pick a
3.
James Bond first.
James Bond. I like Alistair MacLean films, real action films. And I like the serial NCIS. But a film I really haven't watched films for ages.
Which James Bond film is the best?
Well, I think they're getting all better as they go on, but the stunts seem to get more outrageous than they did in the past. But I liked Octopussy.
One of the few people, maybe. Didn't do too well. In terms of improving Derby, what are 3 things you reckon would just really help the city?
Well, if we get this new swimming pool that they're talking about, and really if they mended all the roads, the potholes, it's a mess, isn't it, in Derby? And they're all saying they've got no money until something comes up. So in 5 years' time, they could have mended all the potholes.
So we're going with roads, road improvements in general. Yeah, that's one.
Swimming pool.
Swimming baths.
Yeah, and more facilities.
We've got facilities in general then.
Yeah.
Sports facilities, leisure facilities.
Yeah.
And a third one.
Third one. Well, ice stadium.
You think we should have an ice stadium?
I've never ice skated in my life, so I don't know. But, more facilities, isn't there?
Yeah. What do you think, Josh?
I think there are new facilities coming, so that might be a new thing for the new generations, I guess. Yeah. And Dennis, what are your thoughts on the new bus station in near town?
I've never used the bus station, but to me it's a disaster. The problem is that, and I think it's the quality of the drivers, because me and my colleague are both drivers, and we think that obviously the buses have got to back out, but we've never had any trouble doing reversing, but there seem to be problems, and they reckon they want to spend 2 or 3 million altering it, don't they? But I can't understand what was wrong with the old bus station, except it was on the outside. You could have done with more sheltered facilities.
Yeah. Well, perhaps again that's a communication issue.
Yeah.
We're coming back to this a few times, aren't we?
Yeah.
Communication and transparency seem to be
Do you think we need a new council?
Definitely.
Well, next year's elections are coming up.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens then. In 5 years' time, where do you see yourself?
Me? The problem is now I'm 82.
You don't
so
like it.
Will I survive another 5 years? Obviously,
Yes,
I live for
definitely.
the day. And I never expected to live to be 82.
Did you not?
Well, no, because you don't, do you? You just keep going.
Except there are people that have lived to about 101 years old, I believe.
Yeah, well, 107, 108.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to live, you know, but I haven't got any real plans for the next 5 years. As I say, I'm going in hospital next week to have my cataract done, so I'm hoping to keep going.
Well, we hope you keep going too. But if you were to, in 5 years' time, where do you see yourself in the city, do you reckon?
Well, I don't really see me anything different doing what we've done. I mean, we're trying now, the DACP, we've got a meeting with the council and the hospital on the 27th, where we're trying to get parcels of food and drink for people that's discharged from hospital and got nothing when they get home. So we're getting these parcels ready, and we're hoping to deliver them so that when a person's discharged from hospital with nothing, that they've got something to manage on.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that you use a computer.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be too offensive to say not too many old people are tech savvy. Do you consider yourself quite a techie person?
Not techie, but obviously I used a computer. It was really when I got involved with the DACP and when I was the secretary for the badminton. I found it more easy to do on the computer.
Do you ever do anything else on it then?
Well, yeah, go online, buy things.
What do you go on, like Amazon?
No, anything that comes up. And obviously you get loads of commercials, don't you, to people trying to sell you stuff and...
ads and such.
Yeah. And I watch Streamline Wrestling. I like
you stream
WWE.
You stream wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have to go there then. Come on. Who is your favourite WWE wrestler?
I haven't got a favourite.
Oh, like Dennis, come on.
No,
You
no.
must give me one here.
You know, I used to like all of them. I mean, Bret Hart was one, but I mean, obviously,
We're going
he's
back a
finished.
while. Yeah.
But John Cena.
A modern man.
Yeah, but the problem is, we know it's fixed.
Yeah.
Well, aren't plays fixed though?
Pardon?
You know, it's like a play in a way, isn't
Well,
it?
no. I mean, they say it's entertainment, you know, and they put on a good show.
Yeah. Well, they tell a story, you know, just a story through physical contact.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your favourite wrestling match? Is it a specific one?
Well, I like WrestleMania because you get a good mix, don't you? And like last Sunday, wasn't there? Yesterday, there was a Money in the Bank.
Do you enjoy wrestling?
Used to.
Where they have a suitcase and they have to climb up a ladder and get the suitcase, and that gives them a free pass to a championship match.
Championship.
I thought it was a belt that they would climb to get.
Well, they have in the past for that, but this is called Money in the Bank, and in the briefcase there's a contract that they can cash in any time in a year. But what happens sometimes, there's a championship match on the night, and somebody wins, and they're both knackered, and what happens is the bloke gets the contract and goes in and might win the championship there.
I can tell you genuinely enjoy this.
I do.
I must admit, I enjoy wrestling too. It might surprise you. I keep it on the low.
Yeah.
I keep it on the downside just in case people find out. Bit of a Chris Jericho person myself.
Yeah, I like Chris Jericho.
Getting on now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you know, when I was younger, he was kind of in his prime, wasn't he? Early 2000s.
Yeah.
Quite a tall
Well, he
guy.
was champion. But, see, Chris Jericho, when he was made the world champion, because he was on television saying, Because he said, when was you told you was going to be world champion? He said, oh, they told me last week.
So Josh, you mentioned you watched it when you were younger. Go on.
Yeah,
What's your
so I
favourite
bet-
when you were young?
Well, I would say Undertaker because of his height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's just retiring, isn't he, now?
Yeah.
He recently
Undertaker?
retired. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How old was he?
Oh, I don't know. But,
He looked old.
yeah.
You know, because I mean, it's reported on BBC. You know, it makes it to the news.
And I like the English wrestling when it was on in World of Sport.
That's going
Big
back
Daddy, yeah.
90s. Was it early 90s? World of
Oh,
Sport.
yeah.
Giant Haystack.
Mick McManus, yeah.
Giant Haystack.
Jackie Pallow, yeah.
This is when I was extremely young. I'm not too old. But yeah, World of Sport. We don't get much in the UK, do we?
No.
No, not
It used to
really.
be a lot bigger. Lot bigger here,
Yeah.
definitely. You get the odds bit at the community centres. I think there's a,
Yeah.
a Bramblebrook community centre.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we've sponsored Spy Wrestling, and they're doing some wrestling shows. And there was at the big one the other
Yeah.
Sunday.
Well, they're nice little events, aren't they? Simple
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So back to improvements with the city in general in this, final section. We talked about well, 3 ways to improve the city. If you were in control of this city, let's say you were not just MP, you were dictator of Derby. You are now in complete control of everything, and you have a decent budget. We'll say, you're not locked too much, but you can't build a giant, castle or something. What would you do?
I don't really know, because the
Where'd you
problem
start?
is it's so compact, Derby. We haven't got enough entrances and enough exits, have we?
Well, instantly you've bought up a...
Yeah, well, they're going to
Something.
talk about extending the A52, aren't
yeah,
they?
just about to say.
I've been working on London Road and coming down the Wyvern onto the A52. And sometimes the traffic is back to the Wyvern because the traffic lights aren't set right. Because obviously you haven't got the same volume of traffic all day, have you?
No.
So sometimes the function of the lights wants altering, but of course they never alter them, do they?
So dictator yourself.
Yeah.
In complete control, you'd...
Well, I mean, obviously, it's
Extend
same
the
as
A52.
Mark Eaton, isn't it? If the flyover, we keep talking about it, never happens.
Less talk, more doing.
Yeah,
A man of action.
and the where all the trouble is with the traffic lights, where they've switched them off and switched
Kingsway.
them on. Yeah, Kingsway. They want traffic lights at the bottom. For the simple reason is, the island there, traffic's on the island all the time, so people struggling to get out from Kingsway.
Do you think we need a second entrance in Kingsway Retail
Well,
Park?
yeah.
I mean, that's been talked about. As someone who works in Sainsbury's
Yeah.
in Kingsway
Yeah.
Retail Park
Yeah.
and has to deal with this
Yeah.
a lot, I think a second entrance
Yeah,
would be something worthwhile for
Yeah.
the community to at least make it.
well, they're talking about altering, aren't they? The Wyvern entrance.
Josh, in terms of improvements to the city, what are your views?
Well, firstly, I think in town they need some more toilets, I suppose, because they've closed a lot of them off.
Yeah, basic necessities, yeah.
yeah.
More toilets.
I think that ring they've got in the center of there, that is that's stupid.
The rings.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
all heard about the rings.
I mean, what's the
in
next
past.
thing? In Nottingham, they've got some good attractions. In Derby, we used to, but now it's just gone.
That's a good point. As someone from Nottingham, Nottingham City Centre does seem to have a lot of things that go on in the city centre, but unfortunately, it does feel like in Derby, not a lot goes on.
Well,
It's-
Derby's always been the poor relations, haven't they? I mean, the
Well,
problem is, they were saying the other week that the Derby and Nottingham have joined together. And
Have they?
Ramjet was saying, go and use Nottingham facilities.
Well, it's not quite a walk.
Yeah.
I mean,
Quite a
some of us
distance.
can't drive.
go and use their swimming baths. We ain't got any.
Yeah.
I think the swimming baths which you raised earlier, I think everyone would be in agreement, especially seeing as we have Adam Peaty of
Yeah.
the City of Derby, world record
Yeah.
holder in swimming. No swimming bath. Jeez. So, a bit of a problem there.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I personally like to see more just things happen in the city centre. Sometimes it can feel really dead for long periods of time because there's no events on, nothing happens. Whilst in Nottingham, I don't always go there because again it is a drive and it's a busy drive during the day on the A52. You know, there's always something on, whether it's the Pleasure Bougie ice skating in the winter, the German market. So more of that in Derby would be.
Yeah, but you see, we've got the Market Square in Nottingham, haven't they?
Yeah.
What have we got?
Well, our Thursday market is kind of dying off now
Yeah.
after they've been moved off, and
Yeah.
it's hard to.
Yeah.
A revitalisation is what we need, isn't it? We've been a bit down on the city, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. Things can improve. At
Well,
the end of the day.
hopefully, yeah.
Well, they hopefully.
What about terrorism? That's getting quite big, unfortunately.
Well, as someone from a reputable company, I can say it's being implemented into training now. In retail companies and schools, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. It seems quite strange, almost Cold War like. Like you're almost supposed to be prepared for kind of such a horrific thing. I mean, what do you think about it?
Well, I can't understand the terrorism. And it seems that one Finsbury Park, isn't there?
Only this morning, yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
because
keep up.
he's white, they're saying it's not terrorism. And there was a Muslim on this morning was saying that I don't want to hear that he suffers from mental issues,
Well, I
to
think they
me,
have
he's a
finally,
terrorist, whatever, whether they're white, black, green.
I think they have actually declared it now as
Yeah.
terrorism. They wait at the moment, but they have now. I think I checked the news not long before I left.
And what I can't understand, I mean, it's same as the police, shot them terrorists in London instead of wounding one. I know it's a difficult decision, and they caught this last one alive, so they can question him and get his motives.
And then there was that tower, I think. That what was it? The,
Oh, the tower fire.
that's it, and then it
Yeah.
blew up
Quite a tragedy.
because of the gas or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that affects the entire country, really, isn't it? I mean,
Well-
how much of that padding that we're hearing about, which is almost flammable.
Yeah.
Well,
How
yeah,
did it start?
the point is, it's the what they put behind the cladding, isn't it? It's same as our houses have been. We've been cladded, right? There's polystyrene in between, but obviously we're like 2 stories, so.
Yeah.
And they were saying in this tower block, was it gas? And obviously the bloke who admitted the fire started in his flat, instead of trying to put it out, they just. But the problem is, the advice is stay in your flat.
Well, technically, I did read, but the fire is supposed to contain inside the flat.
Yeah.
So in essence, the guy
It's
right to
right.
close
Oh,
his
yeah.
flat, he was
Yeah.
correct in his actions by leaving, because he should have. But the fact it didn't contain, is entirely the fault of whoever refurbished it. And I imagine there'll be
Or
some
help to
hefty
pay.
lawsuit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
imprisonment. I would not.
Yeah.
I'd be very
Yeah.
expecting them. Whoever refurbished
Well,
this place.
I mean, obviously
and look at the council there.
they can be charged with manslaughter.
Yeah.
Because when I was the chair of Derby Homes, and we said if there was an incident,
Yeah.
me and Phil Davis would be for the high jump.
Well, again, that's a decision the council made in terms of
Yeah.
who did it. Quite obviously, they didn't do it. But the refurbishment company that
Yeah.
was chosen.
Yeah.
Um,
And obviously they chose the wrong material, because they were saying for £2 more could have had it fireproof.
There'll be a big investigation.
Oh yeah, but it's not the cladding that was the problem. It was the insulation.
Yeah.
Well, it'll all come out in the wash.
Well, we'll be hearing about it. I feel it's
Yeah.
in the news. Well, in a way, it's in the news cycle now.
Yeah.
Give it a week, and the news cycle seems to change, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It'll be something entirely new.
But I can't understand why they're saying we'll be able to rehouse everybody in the same area. Because apparently there were 600 people in that block.
And about 40 or something were missing or killed.
Yeah, but where are they going to put them? They haven't got...
We haven't got a lot of like flats,
No.
homes or anywhere.
No.
They'll regret that comment. Most
yeah,
certainly.
yeah.
It's one of those things where you feel you should do that and you should say it for
Well, obviously you've got to
practicality.
rehouse people.
Most certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
Over time, though, you
Yeah,
know,
oh,
obviously
yeah.
instantly they can't.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've read quite a few issues they've had with the council compared to what the government have said on
Yeah,
interviews.
yeah.
And again, councils and
Yeah.
kind of leads on to, do you think people take council elections seriously?
I don't think they do. The problem is, it's ingrained in people, isn't it? They've always voted Labour. My dad voted Labour, so and so, so and so.
Well, turnout's fairly very low in council elections compared to generals.
Yeah, because people get disillusioned, don't they? And they're saying, why bother to vote? Because nothing changes.
Yeah, it can be true.
And the problem is that normally, if Labour's in power in national government, the Conservatives get in local government because people, you know, trying to give them a bloody nose, aren't they? And then if the Tories are in, Labour normally gets in.
Do you think that's an issue with having like a two-party system,
Yeah.
basically? And we could do with, you know, just some more voices for, you know, just in the councils, maybe more publicity for independent candidates, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine there's many independent. I mean, you stood for council. Was it as an independent?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go then. Some more publicity. You never know.
Yeah, and the problem is that in Mansfield, they did, a couple of years ago, most of the people were independents. But, I mean, when I stood, both parties said, why don't you stand for us?
So both parties tried to lure you? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
because they said, you know, come to the party and you know you can work through. But you can't, because you've got to follow the whip.
Indeed.
If the whip says this, you're tied. If you're independent, you can do what you like.
Well, hopefully on the community radio station we could maybe broadcast independent candidates more as well, rather than just switching between two parties every 4 or so years, as we currently seem to.
Well, as I say, with Derby, because they only go for 1 year, so sometimes they can't make long-term plans.
Yeah, very true of that. What do you think of the general government situation currently? A bit of a chuckle.
It's same as the national government. They said we'll have a 5-year term, right? So they overturned it as long as they got 2/3 majority.
It's all a bit of a mess, isn't it?
Definitely.
It all feels like
Yeah.
we need
Up in the air.
we need to think about it all a bit and
Yeah.
reforge ourselves.
Yeah.
Hopefully stronger. And hopefully Derby will be stronger with it.
Stronger together.
Is that a slogan? Have I ever used a political slogan? Strong and stable.
Yeah.
Strong and stable Derby in our future. Oh, it's been an absolute joy talking to you, Dennis. You've had an interesting life, genuinely. As someone who's 26, I have not done as much as you, I imagine, when you were 26.
Well, when I was 26, I'd been in the army because obviously there was
National
conscription.
service, yeah.
And I signed on for 3 years because for 2 years you got 28 shillings a week, which is £1.40.
Yeah. I imagine it was a lot more back then. In terms of how much it's worth.
And
I think.
to sign on for the extra year,
Yeah.
you got a guinea extra. So you got £2.45.
Oh, there you go.
And I was in Egypt 2 years. Then
What
I
years
went
were you in
over to
Egypt?
Cyprus.
What years were you in Egypt, out of interest?
1953 to 1955.
Very different country then.
Yeah,
Very different.
yeah.
It's quite an experience.
And then they had the problem with the Suez Canal, and I got called up again.
Imagine so.
But unfortunately, or fortunately, I had some spots on my chest, and they said I wasn't fit enough to go to a hot climate. And I had to just
we'll
come
say.
back.
Fortunately. Well, we're coming to the end of our time
Yeah,
now.
no problem.
So, Josh, do you have any last minute questions? Throw some in the spanner in the wrench.
Probably what wisdom would you like to share?
What wisdom? I think that you've got to have an open mind. I've never been one for a load of money. I mean, I've always done a job I enjoyed. And if you don't enjoy it, what can you do? It's same as I've been volunteering for the DACP, and I've said, the first time I say, I don't want to go there, I don't go.
You've been quite involved in your life. Do you think you'd say get involved in general? You know,
Well-
you've been on committees, you've been on seemingly
Yeah,
everything.
but the point is, it's just, with being on the PTA, I got a committee, joined up, and that was it.
Well, you like to feel like your voice is heard in general.
Yeah, yeah. And I've made my voice heard.
Oh, yeah, most certainly.
And been all over the country talking to tenants. And I mean, I once addressed TPAS, which is Tenant Participation Advisory Service, and 800 tenants there. And they was all moaning. And I said,
All moaning together.
yeah, we could be the strongest force in the land as long as you get off your arses and do something.
That's a nice little final comment to leave
Yeah.
it on. Get off your asses and do
Yeah.
We'll leave it there, Dennis.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a beautiful